I should have left. I really, like, should have left so many times.
In the Shane Dawson interview with Alissa Violet in the latest episode, The Ex-Girlfriend of Jake Paul, we learn a lot about the major problem with YouTube, but even more so, a problem that you're probably struggling with as well. What is up, everybody? This is Chris from The Rewired Soul, where we talk about the problem, but focus on the solution. And if you're new to my channel is all about helping you improve your mental health. So what I try to do is take things from the YouTube community or pop culture in general and try to take this and teach you how to improve your life, your mental health, your emotional health, all that good stuff. So make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell. So yeah, this is a video that I really wanted to make because it was addressed, this serious topic was addressed in this latest episode from the Shane Dawson series, The Mind of Jake Paul. So what we're gonna be talking about today is a couple things, right? We're gonna be talking about role models. We're also going to be talking about our false idea of success. And when I talk about the false idea of success, we're gonna be talking about our idea of happiness and what our true values are. Because if we can take these lessons that a lot of famous people are struggling with, we might be able to improve our own lives. And when I got some of these, insights into my own life and what I was doing, like my mental health started to get drastically better. So the first thing let's talk about at the beginning of the episode, Shane Dawson was talking to Keemstar, right? They were talking and they touched on a few really good subjects. I'm not a huge fan of Keemstar, but he made some valid points. So one of the things that they talked about was these YouTubers who are constantly causing drama and acting a fool and going crazy and all this other stuff. What they're doing is setting an example for the younger generation of YouTubers.
I think the biggest problem, Shane, is that most YouTubers are attention seekers. Like we want attention, we thrive off of it. And the best way to get attention and to especially get new people to pay attention is drama, right? Both of them had this motivation to be involved in drama, so everybody was talking about them.
Something that I've noticed throughout these Shane Dawson mental health recaps I've been watching, especially when the topic of like younger audiences come up, I have parents, pop in and say like, I don't let my children watch, the Paul brothers and things like that. And like, I agree, like I'm a parent, I'm a father, but like, I think it's more important like, just to kind of look at what's happening as a whole, because this is something that's been happening for a very, very long time. One of the best analogies I can give you is about the failed DARE program. Did any of you have DARE? Did any of you have the DARE program when you were in school? All right, like they're trying to bring it back, and like, I think next week after the Shane Dawson series is over, I'm gonna talk a little bit about mental health and politics just because the midterms are coming up. And I'm not a political channel, but I just think as, everybody here who cares about mental health, you should understand how mental health plays a role in politics, all right? But anyways, getting back to my point, the DARE program sucked, okay? Study after study has proven that the DARE program failed. For all of you who don't know what the DARE program is, it is an initiative that was started, I think, by Nancy Reagan, and different like police officers or other people would go to schools and teach people like, drugs are bad, say no to drugs. DARE, yeah, right? So I remember being a kid and DARE came in and it scared the crap out of me. Like, there were some good horror stories about, drugs. But like, here's the thing. I became a drug addict anyways. And like, that's something that me and other drug addicts kind of laugh about is like DARE clearly didn't work, right? But I just want to tie this into the YouTube scenario for you. So one of the reasons the DARE program didn't work was, I'll use my own experience. So I grew up, I was in elementary school in the late 90s, I know I'm old, but anyways, so I would go to school and then, the DARE officer would come in and be like, drugs are bad, drugs are bad. I'm like, oh snap, drugs are bad. I ain't never doing drugs. That's awful, right? Then I would go home, I'd ride my bike or walk home, whatever I was doing back then. I'd get home and I'd turn on TRL. Did they bring TRL back? I think they did. But anyways, back in the day, it was TRL with Carson Daly. And like, I love TRL. I love watching like just music videos and see like what the rankings were and stuff. But anyways, I was just at school where this guy was telling me drugs are bad, but then I turn on, you know, TRL and I don't know, let's say Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre are like popping bottles, smoking blunts, and they're like balling. They're just making it rain cash. They got nice cars, big chains and stuff. I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, this DARE officer rolled up to my school in like a 92 Toyota Corolla telling me drugs are bad, and he's making like $40,000 a year. Meanwhile, these celebrities are out there partying and doing drugs and drinking, and they're making bank. So like, as a kid, think about how we see that, right? So like, I'm not a huge person on like, oh, bad influences. In my personal opinion, a lot of that comes down to parenting, right? Like, we have to have open dialogues with our kids, but this is what we're seeing with YouTube, especially because YouTube is so easily accessed to anybody of any age. If you have a smartphone, you could be on YouTube, all right? So like, what kids are seeing is, oh, okay, act a fool, get rich, get famous, right? And this is gonna tie into the next subject of being rich and famous. That means you're gonna be happy, right? And I think it's important that we discuss this. Like, we idolize these people, we try to emulate people, we try to, you know, model ourselves after them. Maybe we try to buy, you know, the clothes that we saw somebody who we deem as successful wearing and all of that. But like, think about where our morals and our values go as we're trying to pursue these things, right? So if you're a parent out there, start thinking about that. Start thinking about what your kids are seeing, what their views of success are, and all of that, right? Like, as a kid, it seems great, like, oh, if I had a lot of money, I could buy all the toys I wanted and all of that, right? But like, here's the thing. As we move into the next topic of, you know, success and happiness, I talked about this a while ago on my channel before a lot of you joined me, when Anthony Bourdain and Kate Spade committed suicide. Like, every time a celebrity commits suicide, it is a reminder to me that money and fame do not equal happiness. There is no guarantee that money and fame equal happiness. But let's look at Alissa Violet's situation, and I hope all of you watched my follow-up video. Like, this isn't a victim blaming video or anything like that, but I do think, like, I hope you all learned like what my tough love is like. When we start to make better decisions, like, and start to lose these false ideas that money and fame are gonna make us happy, we're able to make better decisions, right? So Alissa Violet, she was drawn to Jake because of Jake's internet fame and popularity. Jake told her, you know, hey, let me use you for my videos and thumbnails, and I'll help you be a model, I'll help you get, you know, these gigs and money and fame and all of that.
Just stuff like that. Like, when Vine was popping, he was like, yeah, I'll put you in some of my Vines, and then you'll get like a little bit of a following, and you can like use that for modeling and all that stuff. And then, so I did. And
I just got done reading a comment on my first Alissa Violet video, and we were talking about abuse, right? And this is one of those things where, you know, people stay in relationships because their money is dependent on the other person, or they're invested in the other person. Sometimes it's a child and things like that, and it's very, very hard to leave an abusive relationship. But let me tell you this. Let me tell you this on the side note. The last 3 days actually, I'm working for a new treatment center here in Las Vegas. I've been taking my camera and interviewing loved ones of addicts and alcoholics, right? Some are wives, some are children, some are sisters, and like, I hear them talking about setting up these boundaries, cutting ties, leaving that person, right? Like, it's scary to leave that person, but they have to do it. Like, a mother has to protect her child from the alcoholic dad. You know what I mean? And they were willing to take that risk, and they moved in with their mom, they moved in with their dad, they did something to get out of that situation. And that's empowering. Like, my mom, for example, my mom left her husband because if she stayed with him, she was going to die of alcoholism, all right? Like, and that's what I hope to bring to this channel. I just wanna help empower all of you and share with you some of these little, like, these stories and let you know, like, you do not have to stay in these situations. But Alissa Violet, being young and wanting to, you know, move out of the Midwest and out to Hollywood and become famous and stuff, she made some decisions, right? And not to excuse anything that Jake Paul did, but you can see how this goes in motion, right? And constantly, like, not just with YouTube, we see this in Hollywood, we see this with, you know, quote unquote successful people. How many times do people sacrifice their values and their morals or put themselves in a bad situation for money, right? Or for a certain career?
I should have left, I really like should have left so many times. And I packed my bags and I'd have a meeting and be like, hey, I want to leave. And they'd be like, sorry, you can't. You're not allowed to leave. And I was just like, oh. And I couldn't even afford to leave.
Okay? And because we get the idea of success and happiness twisted, a lot of us work at jobs that we hate for a long, long time. You watching this right now, you might be working at a job that you absolutely hate because you don't wanna take a $5,000 a year pay cut. Like, think about that, right? 8 hours a day, 5 hours a week, if you're lucky, you are miserable at work, right? And then you go home and you can't even enjoy your stuff because you're so stressed from your day. And because you don't wanna get a smaller house, because you don't wanna get a different car, because you don't wanna, downgrade your furniture or get rid of some of your expenses, you stay at a job that you hate because it's been implanted in our brains that money equals happiness. I'm telling you as somebody who used to make a lot of money, right? I made a lot of money and I couldn't understand why I wasn't happy. It's because my values were messed up. What I thought was at the top of the mountain wasn't there, right? The reality was I was going up the wrong mountain. I was trying to get the things, the stuff, and none of that stuff ever filled that void that I had. So now, today, I can make better decisions because money is not my top priority. And that's why I get a little defensive when people are like, oh, you're just making videos, blah, 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 right? Like, I don't care. Like, would it be nice? I don't know, yeah, I guess it'd be nice to know I can pay my bills, but other than that, like, since my values are aligned with helping people, like, I'm constantly in a good mood. Like, I have my bad days, but I'm no longer sacrificing my values or my happiness just to chase those things, you know what I mean? So I want you to think about that. I want you to ask yourself, how many times have you sacrificed, your morals, your values, your happiness, just for a little extra dough in your bank account, all right? But I think if we can start learning about that, we can start making better decisions and improve our mental health on a daily basis, okay? But anyways, that's all I got for you with this video, and I would like to hear from all of you down in the comments below. Like, what's your experience? Have you learned that money doesn't always necessarily make you happy? Like, I would really love to hear from you down below, all right? So that's all I got. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell. And a huge thank you to everybody supporting the channel over on Patreon. We got like 2 or 3 new Patreons today, and they're up here now. And I just wanna thank you so much. If you would like to help support the channel, you can click or tap right there for as little as $1. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.